really good energy. Guys really pushed. Great strain, looking for second effort, and I think everybody's trying to find that 1% today, so I thought it really showed up, but we'll open up for questions.
What do you feel like brought that out to be the best practice?
I think just in general, our guys are starting to take ownership of what practice looks like is really relative to their performance and their energy that they bring, right? And I don't know, I think guys just came out here with the right mindset saying, you know what, I want to get better today. I'm not looking for this just to be another day, and they did a good job of that.
You had some time to watch the film from Saturday. What are some of the big things that stuck out?
Just really fundamentally, there's plenty still for us to clean up. There's not a lot that really shows the sequence of a game in practice, and scrimmage is your best way to replicate that. So the substitution patterns, the matching personnel, the moving the ball, big plays down the field, we have to try to create that more in practice, and that showed up in the scrimmage and is stuff that we can improve.
Between looking back at the scrimmage in these past couple of days, now you're 10 days in, what is your assessment of the quarterback situation?
Yeah, again, probably the same you're going to hear from me every time. I feel like we have guys that can win. I thought they made really good decisions today. Had a couple scenarios at the end. We worked 4-minute and 2-minute today, where, kind of get the ball back situations. And it was pleasantly surprising to me that quarterbacks are turning around asking me questions. Hey, Coach, do we want to take a timeout here? Do we want to not score here in this situation? And I think that's smart football play.
What do you hope to see over the next 4 or 5 practices, second scrimmage from them in particular to help you
continue to have measured growth, taking what's there, not trying to force something that's not there, making great decisions. We distribute the ball to our playmakers and just know the offensive, what we're operating, our principles, and how we can execute.
After watching the film from the scrimmage, are there some things that you actually saw from Saturday today that the players kind of improved on, little notes from there?
Yeah, just fundamentally, like we walk away and we did on really Monday, similar to what we would do on a day after a game. We did a corrections walk, right? And we intentionally did corrections that we screwed up in the scrimmage, right? And then in practice today and practice yesterday, we're trying to recreate those moments that happened in the scrimmage that we screwed up. So if we had a wrong adjustment versus a certain look, or we didn't get a cadence right on offense or a motion right, trying to re-script that so it happens again to see if we got it corrected. And I thought, that showed up from our guys.
Where have you seen from the receiver room? Obviously a lot of opportunity there, a lot of bodies that played a little bit last year. We've seen growth this fall.
Yeah, I really have. I think that group showed and displayed another level of toughness that I haven't seen from them before. I think they knew that was a place that we needed measured growth, and they've shown that. I think they also are realizing, hey, you can have a good play, you can have a bad play. The play that matters the most is the next play. And I think you're seeing that more and more from their mentality. We don't want the last play to affect the next one.
I haven't asked you a lot about Mace Funa just yet, Dan.
Yeah.
What do you see as his role? Is he kind of the true Sam Backer for you guys? What does that role look like in modern college football?
Yeah, Mace has some position versatility. I certainly think he can play Sam for us, but I think he can play rush end, that jack position as well in nickel situations. He's proven to be a really good edge setter, and I think he's a guy that is a great picture of knows his plan, has a rush plan, and is able to execute it, right? It's not about having 15 moves. It's about having one move that you can execute at a high level and then having a counter off of that. And Mace just comes out there and works every day. That's what you see. It's consistency from Mace, which is appreciated.
Trevin was a guy who, I realize a lot of his weight gains happened before you guys got here, but even looking back at film of him to now, what can you speak to in terms of a guy who's put on, over the course of 3.5 years, 55 pounds?
Yeah, I joke around with Trev a lot. To me, he's a 55-year-old in a 20-year-old body. I don't know how old he is, 21, but he's super mature, and I've seen great growth from him. He's a guy that's really performing at a high level. Would love to see a little bit more production, but he executes his assignment consistently and tries to use the right technique.
I know Steve Stevens was really working hard to come back from that injury during spring ball. What have you sort of seen from him, and where does he fit into that really versatile group of DBs?
One thing I'll say about Steve is he's very smart, right? And that sticks out to me, that you have to be able to make some of the checks. You're the quarterback in the back. And Steve's done a really good job of that. I don't think he's ever came out here and worried about where he was at, what position he was working at. All he does is work. And that's shown up consistently, but he's helping other guys get lined up, which is hard to do for a guy that really didn't get to play in the spring. So he's done a good job of that.
Tony Tuioti, the Dorless, the alpha of this defense.
Yeah.
What have you seen from him to kind of take on that leadership role of setting the tone, being the alpha of defense?
Yeah, it's a good example today. I pulled Dorless aside and I said, hey, we've been following your GPS. I want to see you hit some top speeds, right? So we just pulled him out of a period and said, I want to see if we can hit some top speeds in this period. And he just took his butt over the sideline and said, okay, watch it right here. I'm going to hit it. And he sprinted, and he just said, I'm going to strain. because coach feels like this is important for us to get better, and that's what Brandon has consistently done. Those guys follow him. He ran to the ball. He's pushing himself to get better. I think that shows up consistently.
What's his top speed?
I'll have to check. He's a near 20-mile-an-hour guy.
With Terrell, I know you were talking about his speed. You didn't know a whole lot about his fit at tight end. Have you seen him grow into a role potentially for you guys there?
Yeah, I think obviously he can run. I definitely think he's going to have some special teams value for us, and I think as he continues to develop at tight end, it's still a new position for him. As he continues to develop, he's got the potential to help us there.
So you showed off a little bit of the tennis skills the other day.
Yeah, it wasn't great. Did you guys see the one I whiffed? Oh, that didn't make the cut. I appreciate that. There was one where I completely whiffed on the ball. I played tennis in high school. I wasn't good at it, but they traveled to a lot of away games, so you get out of school, right? So, that's a reason. And I didn't have a set of golf clubs, so it was like, going to do something.
You break out some of your other high school era skills?
No, nothing. I mean, we've had a few competitions here through we're doing a Duck Olympics, and we've had free throw shooting contests. We did our home run derby with the tennis balls.
No freestyle rapping?
No freestyle rapping, no.
Just checking.
Who's the most well-rounded in the Duck Olympics? Who's your guys' Ashton Eaton?
Oh, this kind of falls back to me. I know I've talked about him before, but Jay Butterfield, he's good at cornhole. He's good at Duck Olympics, like slow pitch softball. He bowled the other day, I want to say 234. Now, you knew it was serious for Jay the minute we were getting on the bus and you realize he has his own bowling ball, right? He's like the Big Lebowski, right? So, no, it's he's definitely a ringer when it comes to the Duck Olympics.
You referenced the energy bus, and plenty of coaches have obviously read that. How much do you ascribe to Gordon and his work and all his stuff? You've referenced a lot of it.
Yeah.
And what does that date back to?
Ultimately for me, like I said, I grew up, both my parents were teachers. I'm always looking to become better. I feel like you become stagnant as a coach and you aren't looking to learn, then you're missing out, right? And there's an opportunity for improve. And whether that be Gordon or, whatever that might be, blank, there's a lot of books that I think you can get a lot out of. Shoe Dog, right? That you can grab something from and carry it over, and hopefully it translates to our players. So if it's a Malcolm Gladwell book or a Gordon book, I'm going to try to lean in on it.
When we talk about it as a first-year coach, Dan, and those kinds of things, but also this and using this platform, how much of this so far, these first couple of weeks, has been for the bully pulpit that Nick and Kirby and others used to convey to your team, and how much of this has been less performative for those?
Yeah, I don't know that it's ever a stage for me. It's just the opportunity to share about our team, and appreciate you guys doing coverage for our team. Certainly there's opportunities for messaging, and I'm not sharing a message here that would be different that I would share with our guys, but yeah.
Going back to those off-the-field competitions, how have you seen team chemistry improve, through those Duck Olympics, as you said?
Yeah, it's fun because, each one of our coaches got the opportunity to draft teams, but none of them could draft their own position, right? So you're talking about, the O-line coaches having to draft DBs, right, and wide receivers. So we have a great compilation of guys, and it allows you to get really closer in those moments.
Earlier in camp, you guys talked about tweaking some techniques on a defensive end. Where have you seen the biggest growth in that defensive side of the ball?
Say that one more time.
Earlier, you guys talked about tweaking techniques on the defensive side, but where have you seen the biggest growth in the defensive unit?
That's a good question. I feel like our pass rush has really developed. I think I've seen that grow over time. Guys are really having to plan. I think there's a lot of pieces, though. We struggled in man cover in the spring. I think that's really improved. I think our secondary's done a really good job in that. Talking about really more in the slot, and that's improved a lot. So iron sharpens iron, and we're really getting better across the board.